There are only 100 days left in 2025. That's just a little bit over 3 months. And already, most people have mentally checked out. They're telling themselves, the holidays are coming up, I'll start fresh in January. But the biggest lie that we tell ourselves is that next year somehow will be easier. So actually, 100 days is plenty of time. It's nearly 15 weeks, long enough to binge watch Netflix series, or finally finish that course, earn certification, or publish a dozen of YouTube videos. Long enough to build new habits, make progress, and head into 2026 with momentum instead of starting from zero. The difference between coasting and finishing strong isn't luck, it's building a system. And today, I'm gonna show you the one I'm using to close the year on my terms. So, why do we fall to that January illusion every year? Psychologists call it fresh start effect. We convince ourselves that when the calendar flips, life resets. New year, new me. And sure, it does feel motivating for a moment. And that's why gyms are packed in January. That's why people say, after vacation, after my birthday, after the holidays, that's when I'll definitely start. But while you're waiting for the reset, you're wasting the days that you already have. So let me ask you this. What could you actually change in 100 days? So for me, it was this channel. I had started YouTube channel in my goals since January, but for more than 250 days, I kept making excuses. Next Monday, tomorrow, I'll start next week, after this thing, I need more time. And before I knew it, the year is almost done and I haven't even started. So one day, like many other days, I promised myself that today is gonna be the day when I'll finally record. And then I looked at the mirror and saw a pimple on my face, and I told myself, oh, not today, maybe tomorrow. And then I understood something that if something this small can stop me, then I'll never start. So I put on some makeup and hit record. That broke the cycle. And now I'm using this 100 days to build something that I can carry into 2026. Research shows that it takes about 66 days on average for a habit to feel automatic. Sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on complexity of the habit, which means if you start now, by January, you won't just feel motivated. You will already be used to the routine. So that's why I think that 100 days is a sweet spot. Long enough to make progress that lasts, short enough that you cannot afford to keep putting it off. Earlier this year, I tried chasing my goals all at once. Work, fitness, learn new skills, starting new projects. I tracked them on a simple Kanban board with the columns to do, in progress, done. And pretty soon I noticed that my progress column is overflowing. I was jumping into everything, but almost nothing ever made it to done. So I cut it down. Instead of 20 half finished priorities, I picked top 3. That helped. I finally started seeing my cards moving. But even then, I would still get stuck sometimes. Which card do I pick? Which one is next? What happens with the card that I didn't touch today? That constant back and forth drained my energy more than the work itself. Psychologists call it decision fatigue. So clearly, narrowing it down wasn't enough. I needed a routine that made it easier so I can just sit down and start. So, what worked for me was building a routine that I could actually stick with. Nothing extreme, nothing like wake up at 5 a.m., ice bath, and grind until midnight nonsense. Just something steady that would not burn me out. So, for me, mornings are for deep work, where I can concentrate on writing or coding. Afternoons are for meetings and smaller tasks. And if my focus dips, I use Pomodoro to reset. Before this, I relied on random bursts, coding until late night, or writing 3 scripts in a row over the weekend. Sure, I would feel really productive in the moment, but then I would crash. So now I've seen it firsthand. Progress doesn't come in one big push. It comes from showing up day after day. I used to set yearly goals in January and then forget about them by February. Same with my monthly goals. I would write them down, but then life would get in the way. So, how did I fix that? Now I do 10-minute check ins every Sunday, and I look at what moved and what didn't. So I had this item, add this new feature to Flowdoro, just sitting there in progress forever. And Flowdoro is the app that I'm building. I've sketched ideas, wrote some code, but nothing got finished. And once I broke it down into smaller steps, it finally moved. That's the value of a check-in. So if something's stuck, you need to figure out why. Is it too big? Does it need breaking down? Or maybe it's not worth it. So let me tell you this. For me, the biggest change wasn't the new routine nor a new tool. It was how I thought about the process. For years, I've been treating goals like finish lines. I would imagine the outcome: launch Flowdoro, hit the fitness milestone, publish the project, and I would assume that motivation would just carry me there. But motivation always wore off, and when it did, I would drift. So, what finally worked was flipping it around. Instead of I want to launch Flowdoro, it became I am the person who improves it every day. Instead of I want a YouTube channel, it became I am the person who posts every Monday. That shift made the work less fragile. It wasn't about chasing one big finish line anymore. It was about showing up like that kind of person that I wanted to be. So, if there is something that you've been putting off, a goal, a habit, a project stuck in the back of your head, don't wait for January. Start now. Because when 2026 starts, you won't be writing resolutions that you'll abandon in a few weeks. You'll already be moving, building that momentum. So let me know in the comments, what is that one thing that you would use this 100 days for? And for me, it's posting here every Monday for the next 100 days. Subscribe if you want to see if I actually stick to it, and maybe you stick to yours too, because the countdown is already running. And 100 days from now, you'll be glad that you started, or wishing you had. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Monday.